So it's the Friday of Boston Marathon weekend. Luckily, I don't have anything to film until noon. And so I was gonna spend the morning kind of like getting ready, getting like my interview materials ready. And I got an Instagram message from a friend, Ian McClellan. He's an incredible photographer, videographer, filmmaker out of Portland, Oregon. And he's like, any chance you have time at 9:30 to help me with a portrait session? And I was like, sure. And he's like, it's with Kipchoge. I will be there. Part of me is like, I'm gonna make Kipchoge laugh today. But I know my role. I know exactly where my role is, and that's to be a fly in the wall, to be quiet, to take orders from Ian, and to maybe like hold a little reflector thing for him. We only have 10 minutes. He has to do everything he can to get the best portrait for New York Times, and then Kipchoge's heading over to the press conference. So it's gonna be, and I'm just so excited to be involved. What an honor, how cool. So let's go to Boston. Are you totally freaked out? Because it's no time at all. So like there's so much pressure. Or do you not feel that pressure?
I think I feel a lot of pressure when you have like a really short period of time with someone, but I think I like to think of it as I want to be like the calmest part of their day. So I want to feel really stressed and nervous, but then when I actually talk to them, I want to be like the happy, like chill moment in their day.
Yeah.
And that's the energy I hope to bring.
Okay, this is where I need to butt in. So like 3 minutes after I filmed that interview with Ian, talking about nerves and kind of how he wants to be the calmest presence in the room, Kipchoge's agent came downstairs and met us in the hotel lobby, and he brought us up to his room. When we walk in, he gives us a little fist bump and a big smile. We put our masks on, obviously, just to make sure we don't even give him a cold. And I'm there just to follow Ian's instructions. So I'm holding up the background for the portraits, the blacks, the whites, and then flipping it around in order to reflect light that's coming through the window. Just getting as much natural light on his face, on all the angles of his face as possible. I'm not speaking. It's not my role to speak, okay? One thing I do know is when to shut up. Sometimes. So Ian's having him go in all these different directions. He knows he has 8 minutes or less to try and get the perfect shot for the New York Times. Different parts of the room, different angles of light. So we get to one side of the room and he doesn't need my services, so I'm just standing there. And Ian says, can you please look at Laura? So he's getting a profile shot, Kipchoge's looking at me. And I, even with my mask on, smile. Like, how can you not look at somebody and smile? Backstory, a couple weeks ago when we were in Paris, Emily Abate led us through this workshop where you sit down with someone, a stranger, and you look at them, make direct eye contact with them for a minute, which is an incredibly long time. And it's very intimate. It's like very personal. You're just like looking at this person, not speaking. Then fast forward 2 weeks and this is what is happening to me. We are just making direct eye contact, not really speaking. Both of us go into this big smile. I start giggling because how can I not? It was so, like without even trying, Ian has somehow set up like this intimate moment between us. So we get the shot, he needs to go to the press conference, so Ian and I leave, we go out into the stairwell. I was like, let's just take the stairs down. And you know when like you leave a big moment, most of the time as adults, we just exit and we go on with our life and we process it later. But I didn't want to do that. I also just really wanted to celebrate the moment and celebrate Ian and the fact that like, he somehow just pulled this whole thing off. And I like stopped him in the stairwell and I just was like, ah! And I was like, Ian, what did we just do? And by we, I mean him. I didn't really do anything at all. So yeah, and then we went outside and that's when I talked to him again. So how did that go?
It was good. I was so nervous. You're I feel kind of like a grade school student like waiting in the lobby for like the permission to like meet like the most famous runner in the world right now. And I don't know, it's kind of magical. And then you like actually walk in the room and you're like, oh, that's him. Like, that's Kipchoge. Like that's the dude. He has a calm presence and you can like see it in his eyes. You're like, wow, this man must be so determined to run 4:30 for 2 hours. Like, he's so cool.
Did I make Kipchoge laugh?
You did. You made Kipchoge laugh.
So on Friday, I ended up filming a skit with Dakota Lindworm and Annie Frisbee from the Puma team. They were unbelievably gracious with their time. Just had fun with it. They showed up not knowing anything about the concept or script, and they just rolled with it. Every scene, I would just tell them what we were doing next, and they were like, cool, great, can't wait to join you. And just a little behind the scenes, I then take all of that footage, bike my ass off all the way back home, and edit it as quickly as possible so that it's ready to post that night before we go to the Puma party, where they had friends and family and all these different people to just kind of celebrate the marathon weekend. Day 2, Saturday. Heading to cheer for the 5K runners right now. Cheering for the 5K. Shocks shakeout, Puma shakeout, Puma filming. It's gonna be a great day. So if you're ever in Boston for the marathon, it's best to come and just not run because there's so much going on. It feels kind of like a circus. Kafuzi is over here giving advice to John Levitt on how to use the 360 camera. Kafuzi just Kafuziing all over this place, right? Ned Brockman here. Okay, Ned Brockman ran across the country of Australia, his native home of Australia. Listen, you were able to run across this country. You were able to avoid all the poisonous snakes, all the poisonous spiders. How did you avoid all the barbershops too?
The what?
The barbershops.
Oh, right. Yeah, nice. Great question. Yeah, next question.
So Jenny Simpson and I are about the same age, and I've been following her since she was Jenny Behringer. And it's just so cool to just be standing next to her and interviewing her. And I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm a fangirl. So what can I say? It's very cool.
All right, Jenny Simpson, you are new-ish to the Puma team. Yeah. So how fast can a Puma end up running?
32 miles an hour.
They can get up to 50 miles an hour. Yes, I know. And the Kipchoge, when she won Boston in 2017, what was her mile per hour average?
18 miles an hour.
Oh, close, 11.
I really believe in her.
Okay, last question. What sound does a Puma make?
No, that's the pretty kitty version. If we're doing like big cat energy.
And then Marathon Monday, we luckily were able to send our boys to daycare. Riding into Boston, completely drunk. But it's a great day for running. It's not a great day for biking. Well, they'll come out next year. I had so much rain and water in my butt because normally there's a kiddie seat on the back of my bike, so there's no fender. And it was just like mud and water all up my crack. But we got to go into the Puma party where they had lobster rolls and an open bar, so that's all I cared about. And then I found myself alone. Everyone left the party. And so I got on my bike and just started backtracking on the course, which is something I just highly recommend doing. Usually the side streets that are next to the course are also shut down, so there's no cars, it's just people milling about. I was biking very, very slow, and just being able to like cheer while kind of going against the grain up through Brookline. And then I got really, really, really cold, so I had to go home. I think I underestimate how exhausting these weekends actually are. Just being on for 10 hours a day. It feels really strange to be this exhausted from something I didn't even run. Just